I have here call for presentations and application. This is the 2016 Annual National Conference, Accounting and Financial Women's Alliance, October 25th to 28th, downtown Denver, Colorado. I highlighted in pink, we are unable to cover expenses or honoraria. You are responsible if you have anything to sell. We will not provide any sales support. Benefits to you for speaking: reduced pass admission, recognition at the conference as a presenter, links from the conference website to your website, opportunity to network with attendees from all over the country. How many of you want to do that? They're asking for a 90-minute breakout session. You have to be an expert in accounting. You have to be a highfalutin person in the industry, or you have to know some soft skills. They really want you to work hard so you can meet those attendees and get that discount. I say, after listening to David Avron here a few weeks ago, he told us just say no. Just say no. And I was very inspired by that. I was so inspired by that. I'm so done with speaking for free. So what do you need to succeed in business? What do you need to get a paid gig? The first thing you need to know is, what do you speak about? So I'm going to give you a card that has a couple of presentation examples on here for you guys how to present. And this is what's normally referred to as a positioning statement. I think this is a fair place to start because I think a lot of people in this room don't necessarily have a good positioning statement. And what you're really wanting to tell people is, what do you speak about? And so when someone comes up to you, Rita, at a networking event and says, what do you do? And you say, I'm a professional speaker. And they say, oh yeah, what do you speak about? What do you say? So Mark Hardcastle, what do you say when they say, what do you speak about?
Plato told us 2,000 years ago to be kind, for everyone we meet is fighting a hard battle. I call out that reality and show people how to restore harmony when their worlds are out of tune by being kind, being determined, and helping others.
Too long. You lost me.
Okay?
Okay? Hard for us to stay with you for that whole thing.
All right.
Okay. What about Rich? What do you talk about?
We talk about winning anyway, finding your own victories instead of letting the world define them for you.
Okay, good. Tom, what do you talk about?
How to increase profits.
Okay. All right, so those are all positioning statements. There's another way to put a positioning statement together, and Rich does this, I've noticed. Sometimes Rich, in his introduction, world champion finalist, Rich Hopkins, blah, 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 talking about this. We also have husband and father of 6, Rich Hopkins, blah, 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 talking about this. When he starts out, he's a father and husband, we expect a certain kind of speech. When we're told about his credentials as a world champion finalist in public speaking, we expect something else. So you can set people up with your position by your introduction as well as your positioning statement. Now, this is the thing about your positioning statement. It's really important for you to realize that this will evolve, and this will change depending on who you're speaking to. I gave you an example on that card of a positioning statement that I use, but I also use other ones. I say I work with salespeople who want to be more persuasive and less salesy when speaking in front of groups. I work with former professional athletes who want to maintain their influence in the community and make more money by speaking in front of groups. So it's always something to do with speaking in front of groups, but who my niche is can change. So for example, if you're a chiropractor and you're talking to a room full of pregnant women, you might say, I work with pregnant women who really are sick of not being able to sleep at night so they can rest well. It doesn't mean they couldn't crack your back or crack your neck, but they're specializing into that audience. If they go into a room full of people who all have back and neck problems, they'll talk about that. I work with people with back and neck problems. So you always want to position with your niche, who you're working with. Now, another thing is, I want you to remember that once you have a positioning statement, and without it, no one's interested in you, but once you have it, it's now time to approach your prospects. David Avron told us there are two different markets, the corporate market and the association market. In the corporate market, you're always contacting the VP of sales or the VP of marketing. In the association market, you're usually dealing with a low-level meeting planner who takes your information back to a committee or to one decision maker. It's much, much better, we understand, when we read Lois Creamer or we read Alan Weiss, these people who tell us to become millionaires as speakers. They all tell us that no one wants to hear from us until they've heard from us. So in other words, they don't want you to send them all your information. What they would rather do is hear from you, what is your positioning statement? So if they heard from you, Mr. Tom Hobbs, I create profitability. Okay, that doesn't tell me much. But what if you said, I work with bosses and inspire them to get more hours out of their people for less money? Whoa, those employers are interested in that. We want to hear about that. So if you just say, I'm profitability, it doesn't get specific enough. Who doesn't want to get more hours out of their people for less money? That's a conversation. Now, your talk is the exact same thing, Tom. You cause smiles. Happy people are more productive. You get more people. You don't even have to change your speech, but how you're talking about it sells the speech, as opposed to just, I talk about profitability. Okay, good for you. How does that help me? You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with that? Okay, so consider that. Once you tell them your positioning statement, you say, I talk about this. I teach people how to get more hours out of their employees for less money. Would that be of interest to you at your next meeting? Yes? How soon is your planning cycle? So that way you find out when would be appropriate to call them back. And then you say, I have a video that I would love to send you, but I want to make sure that it's welcome. Unsolicited material is thrown away in today's market. Unsolicited videos go unwatched. So you want to make sure that you have permission for them to look at it. Now, what's going to happen, Ray, when they promise you they're going to look at it? They're not. They're not. And so what your job, if you really want to have a successful business, is to follow up. So, when you ask them, how soon will you be listening to that? You'll listen to it by Friday? Great. May I call you back on Monday? This is just basic sales. May I call you back on Monday? And when they don't, and on Monday they haven't looked at it, you ask again. When will you have a chance to look at it? And you just keep persisting. And persisting and persisting and persisting, and don't give up. You have to follow up. Now, when they give you a job, when they say they have something, your question is, what is your budget for this? What is your budget? And I had an experience recently where the people said, we're a nonprofit. So I said, I got it. What's your budget? Oh, we don't have one. And I just thought about David Avron, and my attitude just rose up right out of my throat. And I said, I ask $100 to tell jokes to the people in the old folks' home, or $5,000 for my keynote on a national conference. I imagine you're somewhere in between. And sure enough, they were in between. And sure enough, I wrote a proposal. And sure enough, they had a budget, and I could get paid. So what you want to do is don't let them tell you when they have no budget that that means no money. That means you write a proposal. Even if it's a modest honorarium, you get paid. Stop speaking for free. Work with your peers. shore up your positioning statement, make some inquiries, and come back to professional presenters next month bragging to us about your next pay gigs. All right.
Hey, Joan, I got a quick follow-up question.
Yeah.
What do you tell them when they say, I can get somebody for free?
You get what you paid for?
We say this, Tom. We say, yes, you can get somebody for free, but they won't be as good as I am. How do I know? If they were as good as me, they would charge this amount too. I hope everyone goes home with one of these.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan, that was well done. I'd like to invite our general evaluator up to the general evaluation.
I'm passing out, I'm spamming the audience here.
Okay?
Yes, with it, passing out that if they were as good as me, they would charge this amount too. Awesome presentation, Joan. Awesome presentation. Great example of your accounting RFP right in the beginning. Love that. I would have held it up, to let us see the pink stuff on it, just instead of being so just throwing it around, which I think you really want to do, maybe step right on the stage, that might have been appropriate too. But I really liked your concrete and specific examples tonight. I'm going to pass this around here.
Dirk and Joan, as usual, you were spot on. As usual, you were to the point. As usual, you were clear. And I really appreciate that in an educational session. I think you gave us a number of specific things we could certainly go back and look at, and you gave us a good way to respond to them. You modeled what a good professional speaker, what a speaker needs to not be meek, but to step up. All in all, this was a great bang-up educational session.
Yeah. Yeah, we can hear him over here. It's not designed for you to hear.
That's fine.
Great suggestions, and it was good as a follow-up to David Averin that we had last month. And yes, I certainly understand. I've seen those requests, requests for speakers with no budget. I think just in terms of for this particular, there's no real critique. Because I just found it all very, very useful. A couple more of those funny but not so funny examples just would have been, you used one, maybe another one, just to say. And here, and another, you used one for your business, but another time, it just would have been funnier and would have added to the frustration.
Excellent, Joan. Excellent. This follows up with David. I like the cards. I like the takeaways from it. And this is definitely one of those, get it right, get paid, don't do it for free.
I got nothing. Great job.
I heard David Averin too, and I did not get as much impact as you gave me. And as soon as you got to a certain point, I wrote down a positioning statement for myself that I thought was very good. As a former magazine owner, I really hate to be picky, but if they were as good as I am, is the proper English, and I don't know if you want to be proper English or not, but there it is.
Blame it on spell check.
Marion steps up.
Joan, what I really enjoyed beyond the content tonight was the really high energy you brought, the very positive attitude that I saw out of you speaking tonight. I love it when you are in a zone like you are in tonight. And when you bring that kind of power to the stage, you sell your ideas, and when you have product, you're going to sell product.
Yeah.
Yep, keep on.
Well done.
This energy has been all weekend. You are rolling.
We have two others over here that need to make a comment.
Okay, Joan, thanks. The two things I just want to say is you commanded the stage up there. you commanded it, and you had us all just right with you. And I'm walking away like, yeah, as soon as you ended, I'm ready to go. So you fulfilled your purpose. Thank you.
Where do I sign up?
Yeah.
And as an educational seminar, or just speech in general, you gave me 2 pieces of memorabilia here that keep me engaged and active and inspired. And then on top of that, you were so enthusiastic about what you had to say. People buy what you believe, and you believed every word that you said. And you walked away from your podium too. You didn't just stand in front of it and linger in front of your content. You literally just, you had it all memorized. And it wasn't even like you were trying to, memorize anything, because you already believed everything that you said. So that was really great.
In summary, outstanding. As a general evaluation of the meeting, I rejoined recently. I rejoined recently to have educationals like this, Joe. I resigned recently to be able to have an opportunity to be able to give presentations like we saw tonight, and to have the feedback that we get from everybody. Truthfully, I thought tonight's meeting went very, very well. It was to the point. There's not a lot of fluff in it, but you can go to other Toastmasters and get fluff. I really appreciate how much meat there is in this particular meeting in this venue. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to become a member again and to allow me to be your general evaluator this evening. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Before we move on to